Okay, everybody, here we go. We're going to make the fifth and final mother sauce. Now, look, I'm going to skip right to the Italian sauce from the tomato sauce. Okay, I need Italian sauce. So instead of making the plain tomato sauce, I'm going to go right to the Italian, uh, you know, tomato sauce. All right, now I have some basil from the greenhouse. By the way, you should have heard this chopping up. It's so crisp. It was unbelievable. This basil's unreal. It almost has a peppery taste, a peppery smell and taste to it. Okay, anyway, there's the basil, garlic, chopped onion, a little bit of green pepper that I had just sitting around in the fridge, and two big beefsteak tomatoes. Now look, basically what I did here was I cleaned out the fridge of, well, half of that onion was in a bag along with the green pepper. So I basically cleaned out the fridge of onion and peppers. And what else? Oh, and the tomatoes. And then I cleaned out the pantry of all my tomato products that were in there. Now here's the garlic and the onion. You do not want to brown them, especially the garlic. I always am scared about browning garlic because it turns bitter. So do not brown the onion or the garlic. All you want is to sweat the onion. That's all you want. Okay, now I'm going to add in all of the tomato products in there. I start with the wettest. So in other words, the chopped tomatoes go in first. The wettest stuff goes in first. Okay, well, not those tomatoes, the ones in the can. Um, that way you don't have anything on the bottom that's going to burn. Um, okay, let me see now. Hold on, what's going on? Oh, I have a little trick I'm going to show you here. There goes the basil. There's also 2 cans of water being added. All right, now watch this. These things here that are coming up are tomato cans. Well, now what I use them as a diffuser. All right, so that pot is very thin. If I didn't use the diffuser things, the tomato sauce would burn. There's no doubt about it. That pot is way too thin. Unless you stood there and stirred it constantly. Um, Actually, I stirred this thing about twice an hour, and it was on for 4.5 hours. Okay, so there went the 2 cans of water, and because the diffuser is on there, I'm going to wrap the pot in tin foil. Now, here's a problem. By the way, I'm having a hard time with this garlic because my hands are oily, and that thing keeps slipping out of my hands. uh, anyway, I wrapped the pot in tinfoil. You'll see it coming up. There goes oregano. Here comes some red hot stuff. What do you call it? The pepper flakes. And I don't know what that is. Oh, that's pepper going in. Black pepper. I didn't put any salt, no sugar. Just those ingredients, what you're seeing there. I tasted it right there. See if it needs adjustment. And I don't believe it does. All right, so now it's boiling. This is like 2 hours later. I'm going to skim some of the scum off. I don't know why they call it scum. There's nothing in there that's scummy, but I don't know. That's what they call it. Okay, now you can see the pot is wrapped in tin foil. The reason is because the diffuser, you lose a lot of heat coming up the sides of the pot. Now look, if you're going to wrap the pot in tin foil, you have to be very careful. Make sure that the thing underneath the pot is clean, that little cup thing. And also you're going to burn those cups, I don't know what they call them, the little plates. You're going to burn those quicker because of the tinfoil wrapped pot. Also make sure there's no grease underneath, in that tray, underneath the burner. Make sure there's no grease, otherwise you're going to have a fire. When you put the tinfoil around the pot. It really does heat the stove itself, you know, so you got to be careful with that. All right, so this is what I added in there. I'm going to show you. I cleaned out the pantry. I took all my tomato products out. All right, there's one big can of diced tomatoes. There's a big can of tomato puree. All right, there's a big can of crushed tomatoes. I think those are called 303 cans. There's a big can of tomato sauce. I just took everything out. All the tomato stuff that I had in there, I took it out. Okay, there's another can of diced tomatoes. You know, I don't really think there's a big can of tomato paste. I think that's a 201 can. I'm not really 100% sure. It's a regular soup can size. It's not one of them little cans. Also, I added 2 cans of water, the big can, and I added those 2 big beefsteak tomatoes. You know, to make tomato sauce, all you have to do is just put a whole bunch of tomato products together and, you know, see if you need to add water, or if you have too much water, then you have to boil it longer. You know, I guess there's a recipe somewhere that tells you exactly what to put in, but I don't do that. I just empty out the pantry of anything in there that says tomato on the can, and boom, it comes out every time. Okay, so I discovered a dollar store. I've never been to a dollar store, and I went into one 2 weeks ago, and I found these things. There are 3 of them for $1. They're little containers. They're exactly what I need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to freeze all this, and then when I need tomato sauce, I just take one out, let it thaw, and boom, I got it. So, I mean, these things are perfect. I bought $5 worth. I bought 15 of them. And they're exactly what I need. Okay, if you look to the left, you'll see I had the sauce in what they call a water bath. I filled up the sink with cold water, and I put the sauce in there for approximately 1 hour, and it cooled it off enough to where I can put it into these containers and put it into the freezer. It's called a water bath. All right, anyway, listen, you might be able to find this someplace else around town, but you're not going to find it any better than this. I got to go. I got to eat.